Hello everyone, I'm JG and welcome back to Music Forever, where today we're reviewing the new EP from Mastodon, Cold Dark Place. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, where today we're talking about this new Mastodon EP here. Now before we actually get started with talking about this new EP, I just want to inform any of you who may be newer to the channel that I did do a review for the track Toe to Toes that was released from this EP ahead of time as a single. And I have reviewed all of Mastodon's other albums before on my channel. I actually did it a couple months ago, and both that track review and those album reviews are linked in a Mastodon-themed playlist that I have down in the description, as well as on screen here at the end of the video. It should be here. Click on that, it'll take you to the playlist. So if you want to hear my thoughts on that track in more detail, or at least what it was, my first initial kind of reaction to my first few times listening to it, or just my opinions on Mastodon's earlier works, definitely check that out. But let's talk about Cold Dark Place right now, because I was really looking forward to this project because I'm a pretty big Mastodon fan. Even though this was going to be just leftover tracks, the track Toes to Toes is a leftover from the Emperor of Sand recording sessions, and then the other three tracks were leftovers from the Once More Around the Sun sessions. So, it was just leftover tracks, really. So I was expecting some good songs. I wasn't expecting it to blow me away or anything like that, just because they are leftover tracks and it is only a 4-song EP. However, for what we get here, I think it's actually pretty good, and it actually manages to be better than I think I would have expected a leftover, collection of tracks to actually be. I also just really like how this EP, despite the fact that it's consisting of tracks that were, in some cases recorded at different times. Of course, the 3 Once More Around the Sun tracks and the Emperor of Sand track were recorded at different times, and you could definitely kind of tell that they have a sort of different just sound to them. Like the Emperor of Sand track, Toes to Toes, sounds like the production on it just sounds like it fits in Emperor of Sand, which obviously makes sense. And the other 3 tracks definitely sound more like Once More Around the Sun in terms of their production. But still, they don't sound so drastically different that it kind of sucks you out of the immersion of this project when you're listening to it, which I guess is a good thing. And then you also have the fact that all these tracks do kind of have a similar sort of sound to them, that being a sort of a more sad, laid-back sound. This isn't an aggressive Mastodon project, so if you're looking for another Remission, you're not really going to find it here. On the other hand, if you're more of a fan of Mastodon's slower, more introspective moments, then I think you're really going to like this EP, because that's pretty much all you're getting for these 4 tracks here. It's just some slower, longer, more introspective songs that have a lot more of a softer sound to them. And that's not to say there aren't some heavier moments that pop up occasionally, like on Toe to Toes, for example. The guitar riff at one point that pops up is a bit heavier than I guess you would classify as being, just softer. But it's still not super aggressive. It's not anything Leviathan or Remission levels of heavy. That kind of works for this little EP that we get here. Now, initially, this thing was kind of advertised, or at least it was kind of, being speculated to be a Brett Hines kind of solo project, side project thing. Because, of course, we already got Emperor of Sand, a new album from Mastodon earlier this year. So, people weren't exactly expecting another album or project from them later on. We thought that we were just getting this, Brent solo project thing later on, which then later turned out to be a Mastodon project. It was originally going to be then a Mastodon album. I guess those people would have thought it was going to be, really. Then it was revealed that it was actually an EP, not an album, and that it was a collection of unreleased tracks. However, I still can't help but notice that Brent has a lot of time on this album kind of devoted to him. And small correction, not album, EP here. He has a lot of time on this EP that he's just kind of in the forefront. Just his vocals dominate a lot of this EP, I feel, which is something that's pretty good, because I especially feel that on Mastodon's last couple of records, his vocals haven't been quite as present as they were on Blood Mountain or Crack the Sky, for example, which isn't something that, it does kind of make sense given that Brondale's also kind of stepped up into the vocals position as well. But still, I do like his vocals, so getting more of them here on this project, especially in their more kind of sorrowful, slower, sadder sound, is very nice here. And he's not the only vocalist from the band to be doing the vocals here on this project, that's not what I'm saying, but just his vocals definitely do have a lot more prominence here on this EP than they do on Mastodon's last couple of records, which is kind of surprising how that turned out here, considering that, like I said before, these were leftover tracks. So I find it pretty funny that this EP manages to still have sort of a consistent sound and feel and concept to it, despite the fact that it is leftover tracks. I thought that was pretty cool. The guitars here, once again, are just really excellent. I especially like the guitar solo at the end of the title track, the closing track that we get here. Toe to Toes, like I said before in my initial track review of that song, is a track that I really enjoy. I like the lyrics and how it can kind of tie back to the concept of Emperor of Sand as well, with cancer and death, how he seems to be talking almost about death here on this song as well. Really I just think that this EP is overall a pretty solid project. If you're a big Mastodon fan and you like, the variety of stuff that they're able to do, then I think you're really going to like this project because it shows them doing a bit of their slower stuff that you usually don't get for an entire album. You might get it a couple of times on a project, especially their more recent projects, but never for the entire project. But if you're looking for that sound like to be in it, like a project of itself, that's really what Cold Dark Place is. However, if you're a Mastodon fan that really likes just the heavier stuff, the earlier work from the band, this EP really isn't for you because it's not heavy in really any sense. It's definitely more of a progressive metal project. And overall, I just really like this EP overall. I like how they kind of have a project that's consisting of like slower, more introspective, sadder songs. I also like how, despite the fact that they are kind of leftover tracks, they do manage to like fit together very nicely here on this project. Like I said, you can kind of notice the difference in the production for the Once More Around the Sun tracks and then Toe to Toes, but it's not super noticeable and it doesn't suck you out of the immersion that this project creates while you're listening to it. So overall, I'd have to say this is a pretty solid project from this band. Definitely pretty good considering that it's like leftover material. Definitely pretty good considering it's only a 4-song EP. So yeah, I definitely recommend that you check this out if you haven't done so already and you're a Mastodon fan. And also, make sure you check out that playlist I mentioned before, which has all my Mastodon album reviews, as well as my track review for Toe to Toes. If you want to hear my initial thoughts on that track, definitely check that out. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you like Mastodon, because I have a kind of a tradition here on the channel that I started this year with Mastodon Madness. In March of every year, I do a Mastodon themed content. Really, this year it was reviewing all their albums, and I do have plans to continue it next March, so you make sure you want to subscribe so you don't miss out when Mastodon Madness 2 comes around this March. Comment down below your thoughts on this EP. Follow me on all the social medias linked in the description below. Thanks for watching, guys, and stay golden.